Action.
Yes, sir. Episode
5?
5, man.
5.
It's been a while, man.
Schreier.
Many delays. Just
I think how you say 5 in German is fünf.
many delays in this Foof episode.
It's fünf.
Eisenweiss.
So guys, Tyreek Hill, huh?
Reek.
How? So Tyreek Hill is gonna be a first round pick in fantasy.
I don't know, man. That sounds hilarious. That he's nowhere near a first. He's not my first pick. Yeah, that guy's like 5th round. That guy's a skunk. How about you?
No, he's not even on my draft board.
Not even draft board.
Tyreek Hill's not on my draft board.
So
Same.
When would you consider Tyreek to be the best available? Mid second, early third.
Okay,
Early third.
Early third.
No, because let me explain to you my processes for drafting wide receivers. They can't throw it to themselves. If there's not a Pro Bowler or at least a Pro Bowl caliber gentleman throwing and dropping dimes into the basket of this
Agreed.
individual, they're not on my draft board. And then, so when is Tyreek Hill the best available? When all of those individuals that I've designated have that Pro Bowl caliber quarterback throwing to them are gone, maybe I'll look at Reek.
But he's not a scrub, man.
I'm going to stop you right there. Is Kirk Cousin Pro Bowl caliber?
No.
So
Justin Jefferson, correct, he's not on my draft board.
Wow. What type of blasphemy is this, bro?
He's not on my draft board.
So Justin Jefferson falls second round. You want to pick him up?
That's correct.
You take too much of that, bro.
Is Joe Burrow Pro Bowl caliber?
Yes. Jamar Chase is on my
and
draft
T-
board,
and T.
and
Higgins.
he's quite high on my draft board, as well as T. Higgins.
As well as
T. Higgins would be great for.
As well as is Tyler Boyd still there?
Yeah, but he's
Still
low.
there, right? He didn't get traded.
Azuma.
Ozuma's in a 12-man league, starting tight end.
PPR 12 man.
He's a starting tight end.
Interesting.
So you would get Derek Carr.
Well, I thought we were talking about wide receivers. Derek Carr's a Pro Bowl caliber quarterback. Hunter Renfro's on my draft board.
Yeah. It's not that bad. It's not that bad.
I had Darren Waller in fantasy last year. Why? Because who's throwing him the ball? Not some short dude who's not really fast and has good arm talent. That's good but not special.
I got it.
AKA Mr. Tua, turn the ball over.
I got
Someone not from Hawaii.
All I'm saying is
So Marcus Mariota.
name me the last short Hawaiian to win a Super Bowl or be a Pro Bowler in the NFL.
Mario Moon or something like that.
Mario Moon?
Warren.
Are you thinking of Marcus Mariota and Warren Moon
Warren
had some
Moon
sort of
is-
child?
I don't know.
Warren Moon's of black or African American descent. I don't believe.
I
he's
thought he was
Hawaiian.
Hawaiian. I'm sorry.
Yeah, Warren Moon's not Hawaiian. I think Moon doesn't sound like the
No, I'm just-
Wailoa. The Hawaiians are very
That doesn't mean-
the Hawaiian tongue pronounces every vowel each distinctly.
That's
They
not
don't
why I
they
said
don't
Warren.
combine them. They don't. Each vowel is distinctly pronounced. But yeah, so it really is a matter of the person throwing them the ball, and I don't think a lot of people take that into consideration as much as they should.
So Cooper Kupp's not going to be top 5.
Okay, no, I'll be honest with you. We were talking before the podcast, and I said Cooper Kupp. I did lie.
Get that shit.
I was saying Cooper Kupp was garbage, or I was
Get
talking
that
negatively
shit.
of Cooper Kupp. Cooper Kupp's probably he's a first round pick. Yeah.
First receiver pick.
What do you think about that? Honestly,
I think there's gonna be. I don't think he ends up finishing first in fantasy points as a wide receiver. PPR or no PPR. I just
argue
don't.
that. We can argue that.
I don't think so. I think he has a good season. I don't think he has the season he had last year. And I think there's going to be a handful of wide receivers who are overcoming, especially fantasy wise.
He'll be top 3, in my opinion.
10 for sure. 3
Top
maybe.
10 for sure.
Wow,
Yeah,
man.
10 for sure.
5.
That guy's a triple
Maybe.
crown. Triple crown.
Maybe.
Hard to do.
So
Dude.
who would have a better chance of being number 1 then? Devontae Adams.
I really like Tay. I really like Tay.
Who?
Devontae.
Fucking Tay. I know him personally. We're family friends, so you might not refer to him like that.
I thought Tay's not.
I really like Tay. He's got a Pro Bowl caliber guy throwing to him. Matthew Stafford's Pro Bowl caliber. So who else is Pro Bowl caliber? Look, to me, there's 8 quarterbacks who could win a Super Bowl.
Can we list them off?
Agreed. Can you say it?
Okay.
Brady.
That guy. Yeah. That guy. I don't say his name. Mahomes, Stafford, Allen, Rodgers, Wilson,
Gotta completely disagree with you.
Herbert.
Gotta disagree with you. Herbert hasn't even made the playoffs.
Just said his name.
I got that's 7 guys.
Burrow.
Yeah, Burrow. 8. Name another. Okay, outside of those 8 guys, name me another guy who can win a Super Bowl. Please. Please.
Who's in the Raiders?
Wait. Derek Carr? Okay, yeah, okay, hold on. 9. And take out. Who did I say?
Lamar? No, Lamar can't.
Lamar can't win a Super Bowl. No.
Russell.
Okay, take out Russell because he's maybe 5 years ago he could have, maybe now he can't. Okay, put Derek Carr in there and take Russell out. But there's 8 guys. Okay.
What
okay,
the fuck?
Okay, no, keep them both in there. 9.
I'm not taking
Russell
that.
and Russell and Derek are both in there.
Russell.
Outside of those 9 guys I just named, right? The Brady, the Mahomes, the Herbert, the Allen, the Wilson, the Carr,
the Burrow.
the Burrow, and the two. Name
Allen,
somebody else.
you said Allen?
I already said Allen. Yeah. But there's like I said, there's less. Okay, certainly. Let me say this.
Matt Ryan.
There's only 10. No, Matt Ryan can't win a Super Bowl. There's 10 or less guys who can win a Super Bowl. It doesn't matter the roster you put them on. You can put them on everyone's a Pro Bowler at every single other position. They're not going to win a Super Bowl. It's just not going to happen.
But you don't know what can happen.
You got an occasional. What's the dude from
Dude,
the Eagles?
Jalen Hurts wasn't even a top
Who's that dude
QB
from-
in the league, and he went top 5 in QBs.
So Dak cannot win a Super Bowl.
But he can produce.
Fantasy, yeah,
But
he's
he can
good
produce
fantasy,
points.
yeah.
Yeah, he's good enough.
Can Dak win the Super Bowl?
No,
No.
Can,
he's like Eli, bro.
Mac?
No.
Trevor Lawrence will win the Super Bowl.
No.
Oh my God, Trevor's fucking career's in a shitter in Jacksonville.
His team. That team is ass. Team is straight buns.
Do you think, man. Yeah, Trevor, I don't know about Trevor, man. Trevor,
It's a tough one, right?
Trevor was really fun to watch in college.
They set him up, bro. They set him up.
College. Hey, I think the best college player that I've watched, well, I've been football conscious because I've been alive since '99, so I guess I was maybe like football conscious around like, I guess 08 maybe. The best college football player I ever watched, I feel like, was Lamar Jackson. Lamar Jackson at Louisville was crazy. Lamar Jackson, I think at Louisville, it was in Louisville, but number 2 Florida State came to Louisville and he dropped like 50 on him, or I think he dropped 60 on number 2 Florida State. That game was crazy.
The best was Tim Tebow.
Do you think Tim Tebow? Yeah, okay, yeah, I'm forgetting about Tim Tebow.
Yeah, I didn't see him. I saw Manziel. I like
Johnny Football?
Johnny Football when he was.
So what's up with Baker Mayfield?
Baker Mayfield is how he...
Is Deshaun Watson a Super Bowl before, okay,
He was.
Before this 1 year
that
off?
guy's live as fuck. I'm not gonna lie.
before this 1 year layoff,
Yeah.
was he a Super Bowl caliber talent?
Okay,
Buffalo.
let me ask you this. Let me phrase it to you this way, okay? Let's say there's a bridge you cross every day, right? And you hadn't crossed that bridge in 2 days, or in 2 years, you hadn't crossed this bridge. And then somebody told you to come back to this after 2 years, and they said, "Are you certain that this is a safe bridge to cross?" would you be willing to bet your life to cross that bridge? I haven't seen this man play quarterback in 2 years. The last time I saw him, he was in the, I think it was in the playoffs against Buffalo, and the two guys came around the edge, both of them, like both the left end and right end, completely blew by both of the tackles. Hit this guy at the same time. He like washing machine, tumbled dry, spinned out of that, rolled out and threw a little lob out to the flat, and then the guy ran for like 30, 40 yards after the catch, and then I think they kicked the field goal to win it in overtime.
How do you feel about the?
But that was 2 years ago, so I don't know. You asked me 2 years ago, yes, yeah. Deshaun Watson can win you a Super Bowl. I don't know what he's been doing.
How do you feel about the Panthers quarterback room?
You see, during training camp, they brought both Baker and Sam out at the same time to field questions. They brought them out simultaneously. They're like both quarterbacks will be coming to the podium to answer questions at the same time.
You think that's a test?
They seem to be pretty buddy. Like they seem to be like, even though like.
You think those answers will affect who will be starting week 1?
No, I think it's whoever can fucking go out there and sling that pigskin.
So you think we're gonna see half and half play time during preseason?
Sure. It's preseason.
And
Who gives a fuck?
whoever performs better will start?
Yeah, I think it's whoever. I think it's going to be a decision by both the coaching staff and the locker room, the players as a whole. And I think the coaching staff will be able to read the locker room, and that'll factor into their decision. But ultimately, it is the coaching
Who would
staff.
you want starting?
Baker.
Who would you want starting? Baker or Darnold?
I want Baker, man. Why not?
I got Baker too.
But I think he's still number 1 though. I think Sam is still number 1. I don't know.
So you think you would start Baker, but you're saying you think Sam's going to start?
No, but I think on the roster as we speak, I think he's number 1. I think so. I don't.
So I think it's 2v1 as of right now. First string right now.
It's not like they gave up so much for him.
Yeah.
What did they give up for him? Like a 5th round pick? So it's not like they have to.
I think they bought him out.
Right?
Right? I think they bought him out.
So the Browns made a terrible decision of siding with Deshaun Watson, who's suspended again, right? Is he suspended?
They don't know. If
There's
he's
some
gonna get
judge
suspended.
right now, some chick. I think her name is Sue L. Robinson.
A female judge?
A Miss Sue L. Robinson will decide exactly, I believe, how many games Deshaun Watson has been. She's going to take into the context
It'll be like
the case individually, and then she's also going to take into the context the NFL's code of conduct and precedents with situations like this in the past. And she will actually determine. They're using a third party to say exactly how many games have been. I believe that's my understanding of it. I'm not so sure that's exactly how it's going, but that's my
His part of him
understanding.
is at least like 9 games or maybe 7. Something like that. Majority of the season. Because he loves rubber tugs, bro.
But who else is suspended, bro? There's someone suspended. That's a pretty good
a receiver, I think.
Yeah, a receiver. He's gonna be like suspended like 6 games.
What?
Gambling. Oh, D-Hop.
D-Hop suspended.
What the?
Is
What?
it him? Is it D-Hop?
Wasn't it Calvin Ridley?
Is it really?
Ridley retired.
But wasn't he also betting on his own games?
He was.
Yeah, that's the only person I've heard of gambling on their fucking games.
Bro,
Fuck Calvin.
No, but someone, I think it is.
There's some top tier receiver that's retired. Or running back.
That's retired.
I'm not retired, that's suspended.
Suspended.
There's someone good.
I think
I can't put my name on him, bro. It might be D-Hop. I don't fucking remember, bro.
Michael Thomas is coming back too. I don't know how the Saints gonna look.
Did you see that picture of the Commanders fans?
Oh, how there was no one at the training camp, no hype.
Oh man.
Bro, you know the funny thing is, I was watching the actual training camp, like on the sidelines you can see people, so that picture is very skewed.
It was fake. Yeah.
It was
man.
probably taking like a fucking 3 hours before training camp started, like to be honest.
Hey, you want to know a good mantra to live your life by? It's never failed me. This has never failed me. Believe none of what you hear, and half of what you see. That has never failed.
But don't you like the news? Aren't you a big news guy?
Really like the newspaper?
What do you mean, am I a big news guy? Yeah,
Aren't
it
you
doesn't
a
mean
big
I
Herald, huh?
believe everything I see and hear on the news.
Aren't you a big Fox News supporter?
You read the Herald?
I wouldn't say I'm a Fox News supporter. No. Actually, I watch very little Fox News. I'd say most of the news I watch is what you'd call like I guess like independent media.
Have you ever put
It's
a quarter in
it's
to get the news?
I get a lot of my news from YouTube. What'd you say?
Have you ever put a quarter in to get the news?
A quarter
Yeah.
to get the news from like the newspaper?
Yeah.
I've honestly never sat down and read more than 2 pages of a newspaper. Have either of you?
No.
Never read
Have
a
you?
newspaper.
You've never read any, like, you never sat down and just, like, even perused through a newspaper?
I mean, I did, yeah.
But, like, okay, I'm saying
I
I've never
can't
sat
remember. I don't think I've ever held a newspaper in my hand.
These guys full of shit, dude.
I'm gonna be honest.
Did either of your parents or grandparents, like sit down, like, every morning and, like, read the newspaper?
No,
bro.
Okay,
I'm
my
not-
mom's,
We're
yeah.
Hispanic, bro.
My mom's dad would sit in the recliner every morning and he'd read the newspaper and he'd do the crossword puzzle, he'd do the whole pizzazz, man, the Miami Herald.
That was their. The newspaper was the phone back in the day, bro.
Yeah.
You go anywhere, you go on the subway, newspaper.
Right? Just how everyone's looking at the screen, everyone's
on
yeah.
newspapers, bro. Bro,
That's
and like,
crazy,
you ever
bro.
watch Seinfeld?
Bits and pieces.
Bro, like, you can really tell that shit was like made like late 80s, early 90s. Because the
Oh,
amount of
definitely.
newspapers, like, it's always a thing, bro. Like, taking like a Kramer. He always take Jerry Seinfeld's nuppaper and shit.
Oh, yeah.
He would always read his newspaper. You know, where's my newspaper? Oh, here you go. He would take his newspapers, bro.
What the fuck?
Seinfeld's a fucking great show. I love it.
Whatever. It's just really.
It's a classic.
Well, yeah, I mean,
You know, I was hearing somebody said,
exactly.
okay, you know how the, like, news today, right? Regardless of any newspaper or news station that you're watching, right? They claim to be an objective source of news, right? Meaning, like, they're not opinionated. They're giving you an objective relay of current events, right?
What, like
When
news
in-
stations?
What?
Like news stations?
And newspapers.
But it's
and-
really very subjective.
But in
And lean-
reality,
they lean left or right.
but in reality, their view is completely subjective, right?
Yeah.
I was listening to somebody say, and I didn't look into this. It was my only source for it. But they were saying that when our country first started, that newspapers, they were openly subjective. Like, you would go and you would get like your buy a paper knowing it was a left-leaning paper, or you'd buy a paper knowing it was a right-leaning paper. And these entities who ran these papers and sold these papers were open about that. It's not like they were saying we're giving you an objective. They said no, we're subjective. So that's where I have a problem with the news is, and this is like mainstream. I feel like news, and it's not so mainstream anymore because I feel like they're not the mainstream. I feel like that's not what most people are mocking. Most people are watching. I feel like the correct term for it now is the legacy media, because that's like the media that's been there the longest, and they're never really going to go anywhere, right? They're always going to be there. But I think it's wrong to call them mainstream now, because I don't feel like they are in the mainstream. But these legacy media outlets, I feel like they claim to be objective and they're subjective. So I try to watch independent media outlets who are subjective, but they say they're subjective.
My opinion on that, on news outlets, let's say, and this is where everyone on Instagram get their information, or like Twitter or Snapchat. They all get it from fucking biased ass BuzzFeed or some shit. You
Yeah.
know, they're like every feminist, every gay rights supporter.
Every social media.
They
activist
get
is
all their
fucking-
they get all their opinions from BuzzFeed. On my opinion, like literally fucking spewing nonsense that I don't want to hear.
And where does the and you're saying that there's another group who's equidistant on the other side of the spectrum from those people ideologically, who also just get their news and their information from just one source that's like BuzzFeed-esque, but on the exact opposite end of the spectrum.
Yeah, I guess people that watch Ben Shapiro,
Mm-hmm.
you know,
talk shows and
fucking
whatever,
Steve
fucking
Crowder, you know, people that.
the Colbert Show and shit.
Yeah, bro. what's his name?
What's the
The culprit? Who's that black guy that's like fucking?
Yeah, him, bro. What's his name, bro?
The black guy from the UK?
Yeah.
Is he a rapper?
That guy's a.
No.
That guy's a. He spews nonsense everywhere, bro.
Spewing garbage.
I forgot his name.
Spewing
bro.
left
Black guy from the
wing.
UK.
Yo,
Oh wait,
He was in the Uber commercial, right?
He's
Or some
left
shit
wing
like
or
that.
right wing?
That guy is every wing.
Left wing. I think it's some British dude.
Yeah, bro.
Does he have dreads?
No.
Does he have dreads?
He got a low boy. Like.
Yeah.
Bro,
Yeah,
you need to
low
find
boy.
out who
He's
this
talking
is for
about,
me,
bro.
man.
Bro, and he's like talking about fucking American movies and shit.
Yeah, bro. You guys are
He's
annoying,
insane,
bro.
bro. I don't know.
And the fake audience and shit he has in the back.
I think like a lot of these outlets are trying to. They're very like. They all become so like women empowering, and like for them to like. It's just like always like men versus women.
Uh-huh.
That's what it always turns into. For a lot of these, like let's say abortion, it's gonna be nothing but left wing views of abortion. That's like very female empowerment, you know. And I think that's a lot of that is turning into the result of women hating men, but they don't say anything about it because they don't. No one ever talks about that. But it's always misogynist.
And where do they
What
get
was
this?
that?
Where do they get this from?
What do you mean?
Like where are they getting these ideas from, and why are they feeling so strongly about these ideas? Where is it coming from?
Where is it coming from?
Yeah.
I have.
Damn, man, the
I couldn't-
bullshit.
Okay.
I couldn't tell you.
Okay, so look, here's what I'm getting at. Here's what I'm getting at. Okay. Let me tell you a little story, and then let me tell you a little story, and then I'm gonna follow it with a question. Okay. There was this reality show. I didn't watch it. I was listening to somebody talk about it. It's in the UK. Don't even know the name of it, but he said it was like kind of like an American or a UK version of the American show Punk'd, or like they would like it was like a prank show kind of, right?
Yeah.
Okay. There was this gentleman who they were pranking, right? He was on the show. He had been working at this manufacturing factory facility as an overnight security guard, and he hadn't been working there for that long. He'd only been working there for like maybe a few weeks, right? And so what that guy's job is and what he's looking out for is, because there's expensive equipment and products in this facility, he's looking for people who would maybe be trying to break in and steal them or do whatever, right? So he's trying to watch the outside and keep people from breaking in, right?
Okay.
What they did to prank this gentleman was they took like a group of like, it was like 6 people. One of them was like a small child, like toddler-esque, right? And they just had him crying the whole time, right? And they put these people in shackles and in torn clothing, and they made them all dirty and disheveled, right? And they had them, instead of break into the factory, right? They had them break out of the factory. So they broke out of this factory, and they like the guy, right behind the guy, and the guy turned around and they were like, "Help! Help! Help! These people are holding us here. Like they're keeping us captive. They're making us work. They're basically holding us as slaves. Please, we have a child. We're starving, right?" And the guy essentially forced these people back into the factory.
What?
He was like, "I'm gonna have to ask you to please get back in there." And they're like, "What? Like, what do you think?" He's like, "I just have a job to do." He's like, I'm just doing my job. Like, basically, is what he was doing, right? Okay. So, the reason I told you that was, and now I'm gonna come up with a question, is because I was asking you, where did those ideas come from when you were talking about all those people with the crazy ideas, right? Is, do you think most people have the ability to think for themselves and come up with their own opinions and values and ideas? Or do you think most people, their opinions and values and ideas will be shaped by just their environment around them, where you could take this person who was saying all of those things you were just saying, and then instead of them living in Portland, Oregon, or in LA, or wherever they're living, you put them in like Little Rock, Arkansas, and now they're like Trump 2020 all the way, and they're completely the opposite end of the spectrum, right?
Yeah.
So do you think most people can think for themselves?
I think this is very is what we call like the Me Too kind of era, right? Me Too. Oh yeah, me too.
Uh-huh.
Oh, I feel oppressed. Oh, these people are oppressed. I'm oppressed too. I think that all comes down to entitlement, being privileged, and it's also people complain about let's say, taking advantage of people.
Mm-hmm.
Like, oh, they're taking advantage of, let's say, oh, like men take advantage of women, blah blah blah, shit like that, you know. But when they get some type of advantage, some type of perk, they don't care. You know what I'm saying? Let's say a pretty girl gets to go to, some guy asking her to go to VIP for free, right? She's not gonna go, oh, you're oppressing these ugly women. You're not letting them go in for free. When does that happen? Never, right? It's always like, that's just entitlement, boredom. They just want to feel special.
Their ego.
It's just crazy to me. You know what I'm saying?
I understand. I hear you.
It's just very Me Too-esque. Like, I should feel this way, you know? Oh, fucking. I don't even like. Man, I don't even know. Like, I'm trying to think of an example. I can't think of one right now. But you get what I'm saying, though, right? It's just like.
I'm gonna. This is something I'm gonna try to cover and be done with right now in about 60 seconds. But I really feel like I could talk about this for a full podcast if you wanted me to. But there was this idea where there was the wealthy class oppressing like the working class, kind of like started in like Russia, like the Soviet Union, all of that, right? And so the idea was wealthy class oppressing the working class, right? And so it was purely like an economic struggle, right? And then after time, there was like some evidence that started to mount in like the form of like tens of millions of people dying, that said that idea wasn't such a good one and it was kind of wrong. So then the people who were holding that idea, they said, okay, maybe we were wrong about the whole wealthy class oppressing the working class thing, because when we tried to straighten that out, we like took out the whole wealthy class and they were basically like producing everything for everybody, and then when we took them out, we didn't have anything, and like people starved and died, yada yada. But so we figured out that didn't work, but we can't just completely abandon that because that's the whole game. So what if it's not an economic struggle between wealthy class and working class? Instead of it being a money struggle, an economic struggle, what if we just say it's a power struggle, right? It's a struggle for power, and we could pose groups in any sort of manner in which it fits the oppressor versus oppressed narrative. You could group people in any way as long as this group is oppressor and they're oppressing this group over here, right? So what you're talking about with like the Me Too thing being like, oh, I'm oppressed, is it's people yearning to not be in that oppressor group. They want to be oppressed, right? Because there's an idea out there that says that if you're not oppressed, right? If you're not oppressed in any way, right? If you face no oppression in your life, you're an oppressor. That's the idea. So there's people who are out there who are saying, look, there's white women out there who are looking around and saying, fuck, I'm not oppressing or I'm not facing or feeling any sort of oppression. Fuck, that means I'm an oppressor. Let me just say I'm demisexual. And now I'm part of the LGBTQ community. Therefore, I'm being oppressed now. You understand what I'm saying? So there is a lot of, and there's women writing books about this, woman of color, right? I think it's an Asian lady, writing books about how like there's like the LGBTQ movement is disproportionately white woman. And that her reason for that disproportionately being white woman is that exact thing. Is that they're saying that you can that these white women, they're looking around and saying I'm not oppressed in any way, and then they're being told, okay, that makes you an oppressor. So then they're just hopping onto this LGBTQ bandwagon, which isn't good for them. And I'll play devil's advocate for the other side. It isn't really good for the LGBTQ community, right? Because are they really truly part of that community? Or are they just hopping onto that to hop on with that oppression that they don't really face, but that maybe some people of the LGBTQ community do face?
So let's say like a recent thing that happened, Black Lives Matter.
Okay.
And we had a lot of white people or people that are not black, do blackout. You Remember that?
They post a black square on Instagram. Yes.
So are they?
Oh, yeah.
So they feel like, oh, if I'm not posting this, I'm part of the problem. Like, like I need to pretend I care or something. I need to.
Exactly.
But in
Like, fuck.
reality is you're not black, and your post doesn't fucking matter.
This is wanted to be a part of the little wave.
It's called virtue signaling.
It's called being a phony.
They're signaling their virtue.
If you really want to support it, go be in the walks and stuff in the streets, and then that's how you support it. And not show a black picture and shit, and put black or hashtag black. I don't know, bro.
I think I think it was just them showing I'm not an oppressor.
Exactly. Yes.
I don't oppress.
Mm-hmm.
Like, no.
Yo, so JJ, what do you know about Admiral Richard Byrd?
Who? Admiral Richard Byrd?
Yes, sir.
Richard Byrd. Or
Okay, I'll be completely honest. So we're switching topics now.
We're switching topics.
Okay. Admiral Richard Byrd sounds awfully familiar. Does this have to do with unidentified flying objects, Mr. Denizard?
Somewhat.
Okay, Eric, look.
But it's not the main topic, though.
Okay.
It's something. It's completely different.
Okay, we're having a trial right now, okay?
Trial.
Look, you're the judge, okay? I'm the plaintiff. No, I'm the plaintiff. He's the defendant, right? Okay. This guy right here is saying that objects, right, that are moving and turning and stopping at rates that we can measure their G-force, right? You know what G-force is, right?
Yes.
Your Honor, you're familiar with G-force? Okay, so these are G-forces that are hundreds of times the magnitude that would need to instantly shatter bones, right? And he's saying that
Who
there's
said they're
organic.
doing it?
He's saying that there's organic life in these
Not all the
objects.
time.
But sometimes.
Yeah.
Okay, so he's saying that there's organic life in there. Okay, that's my opening statement. Okay, you can't have objects moving at this rate.
What if it creates gravity for itself?
Okay, all right. So
What if it could
Okay.
create its own gravitational shield?
let me know when you're done. I had my opening statement.
Go.
Let me know when you're done.
That's it. No.
Okay.
But that wasn't what I was talking about,
Okay.
though. I
Okay.
wasn't talking about that.
We'll get to that after, okay? Because
But look,
this is really.
that's
really
not the main thing I was
what we're
talking about. That's not the main thing I was talking
Hold on. Your Honor.
That's not the main
Your
thing.
Honor.
hey man, silence in the room. Silence in the
Honor,
room.
Can I talk about the bird?
Hey.
Let's talk about the birds.
Speak. You may go.
Okay. There's really two arguments to be had between me and
Mr. Denizard.
the defendant. Okay. The first argument is to be: is there alien life that has been on Earth, right? Which he would say yes, and he'll tell you some mumbo jumbo about pyramids and Egyptians. I don't know, right? Okay, that's the first argument, right? And I've already told you that we can measure and calculate G-forces that these said objects he's talking about on Earth, and we could also talk about the amount of time it would need to travel from these planets
The government
to our
acknowledges
planet,
UFOs,
right?
though.
Which brings me to my second point, right? So he says, okay, maybe there's not organic life on these vehicles, right? Maybe they're just drones, right? Okay. If you were traveling at multitudes times the speed of light, Your Honor, right? You would still need to travel tens of thousands, hundreds of thousands, if not millions, billions of years to get from any of
What
these
if they're
star
entities?
clusters where these entities could be sending this probe or drone to get to us. So that's why I'm saying that there's no way any sort of
Okay, look.
alien life has been here, and I
Let
don't
me talk
think
to
that
you.
there's been any sort of probes or drones that they have sent here. I respect it.
That wasn't
May take
that
the
wasn't
floor?
that wasn't the.
We'll get to
The
that
story I was
after.
about to say,
No.
but, okay.
We're having a little main trial here, and then we'll talk about Mr. Byrd.
I was about to say. Fucking lost my train of thought, dude. It's fucking
Can we
confusing.
discuss?
I was about to say
Wait.
that.
Can we discuss the UFOs? All right. So your statement is the UFOs have their own gravity.
Yeah, all right, but look, I found it. I got it. Look, so I was about to say that these
Guilty.
no. Dude, wait.
Guilty.
No. So look, wait, what
10
did he say?
years.
Wait, what did he say? What was the last thing you said?
No,
What was the last
no.
thing you said?
10 years.
There's two. I am bringing 2 charges up against you. Okay. First
What did he
charge.
say?
First charge.
Insanity.
Organic life cannot move at the rates of speed
Would you like to
Alright,
bring
I
this
got
up?
it.
and at the change of direction
Okay.
that these objects that we're viewing here.
So what
on
if
Earth,
these-
right?
so what
Second
if
charge.
these-
Hold on.
wait, before
Second
I
charge.
lose
No,
it.
I just want to bring you the charges. Second charge. Even if they were sending drones without organic life on them, they're too far away to get here.
All right, so look, what if these other entities or whatever, right?
Talk to him.
We don't know.
You
We don't know.
talk to him.
What if other entities or anything like that, aliens? I'm not saying they're aliens now, because I've learned something, I researched something, and I don't think they're aliens now. I think there's some sort of entity. Maybe it could be like a human from the future, and then what if they're so advanced that stuff can materialize through their dimension to ours? If according to frequency.
According to frequency,
Yeah.
a future human
Or anything.
organism,
Yeah.
a future life form.
What if they can dematerialize themselves and materialize themselves in our dimension at will?
I think they're very. You can't really comprehend that type of technology as of right now.
That's why we can't do anything. You know what I'm saying?
Would you
I
to-
hear you.
Would you like
I
to?
got ears. I
Would you
hear
like to?
you.
Wait. Would you like to take the insanity deal? Would you like to plead insanity? And would you like?
Would you like to plead insanity?
Look, that wasn't. I
Yo,
was
you're gonna get a lesser
Look,
charge.
but that
man.
I wasn't.
As your legal counsel, Mr. Denizard, hold on, please. Can we have a recess?
Yes, please.
Okay, let's talk about Mr. Byrd, and then we'll resume the trial in a couple podcasts.
Piss me off right now. But look, I wasn't even talking about UFOs to begin with.
Okay,
All right.
Okay, who is Admiral?
So Mr. Admiral Byrd, he's a really good fighter pilot. He flown across like the Atlantic and stuff, and he had this one mission to fly over Antarctica, right? And he flown over there, and he said himself in a notebook that there is land back there, like there's like no behind the ice. And he said that he went there.
Land.
Yeah.
Okay, yeah. There's crust protruding above sea level that is a continent. Yes, I agree with that.
He said that he passed that in, and he said he saw like a beautiful growing environment.
Antarctica, southern pole or northern pole?
This was in 1943.
The Arctic, which is North Pole, or Antarctica.
Antarctica.
Okay, so south.
Yeah.
Okay,
right,
south
right.
pole, south pole. Okay.
Right.
You're saying there's a wall.
That's what he said. He
No.
said he went past the wall.
And you saw like lush.
Yeah, and then
like green.
and he said that. All right, wait, I'm not done with the story. He went back, and he told the government that there's this land
Mhm.
behind Antarctica. There's more land, right? So once he did that, they brought back a crew, like a big ass, like it was a big expedition, and they went back, and he said himself, "Look, I kid you not, all right, I don't believe this. I don't believe this myself. I'm just telling you guys this, okay?"
Mm-hmm.
He said that when he went back over there, like he said he saw like an inner Earth type of deal, you know, and he said he saw UFOs and it's crazy. It's crazy things.
Okay, here's my question
Go
for
ahead.
you. Yeah. So because I've seen this model of the Earth, it's like at the poles it almost sucks in and there's like a hole and it's almost like we're donut shaped.
Right.
Like a donut shaped ball.
That's what I've seen too. That's
right?
exactly what I
Okay.
saw. Okay. Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
Right. Okay. None of us can go to Antarctica.
Uh-huh.
Correct.
Uh-huh.
None of us, because I don't think we're training to be astronauts. None of us are training to be astronauts. So none of us are really going to go to outer space and be able to view Earth from such a distance that we'd be able to see this hole. Hold on, give me 15 more seconds. Hold on. So, I think the best we could do is let's go, me and you, right? We'll get a telescope, really nice one, right? Or maybe we'll go to like the best telescope facility. Maybe they'll be real nice, and they'll let us in there, and they'll just look through their little fucking lenses, right? And see stuff in that.
If we reach 5K subscribers, we'll do that.
Okay. And I will try to find as many normal ball-shaped planets
Okay.
as I can. And you will try to find as many hollow Earth sphere planet-shaped ones that you can. And we'll race to see who can find the most in, let's say, 24 hours.
I don't think that.
And I'll bet you $100 I can find more.
I don't think that map you saw is accurate enough. I don't think the hole is like fucking this fucking like the size of of a million football fields. I don't think
So
the hole is that big.
So you will make a case that Antarctica is a circle?
I'm not
It's a
saying that.
circle.
I'm
Going
saying
He's saying
around.
that's the case that Admiral Byrd made. Look,
Admiral
That's,
Byrd.
okay, whatever.
Mhm.
The statement does
that
make,
Mr. Byrd said.
Mr. Byrd is implying that Antarctica is really a circle.
look, essentially, look, like take a cylinder. Here's what he's implying. Here's the model. Look, take a cylinder, right, and carve it all the way through the North to South Pole. Stick it through the North and South Poles, and just carve that through, and it's empty space. That's what he's saying Earth looks like. Now, what I'm saying is,
No, I don't-
is every planet in our solar system, as well as every moon,
Dude.
as well as every other planetary body we could observe with a telescope, is fucking spherical in
Okay,
shape
wait,
and does
wait.
not have this hollow
Let's go back to your
cylindrical
story.
hole through it.
Please,
right?
let's go back to the
So
story.
find me one. I'm not just asking you to find a bunch.
Let's go
Find
back to
one
Mr.
planet
Byrd.
that
Let's
Let's
has
go
that.
back to the Byrd story.
The bird is the word.
The
Jay.
Byrd journal. He said when he went past to see the hole, he said there was land like inside there. That's what he said. Basically, all right. Let me tell you. There's like another like an exoplanet, like an inside. There's another fucking whole environment in it. That's what he meant in his
Eric.
journals. I'm not saying this.
No, I know you're not saying
He
this.
wrote this himself.
I know you're not saying
Yeah.
this. And I hear this, right?
Yeah.
And let's pretend. Bring that seat up. Hello.
This-
Oh, Admiral
Mr.
Bird, nice to join us.
How you
Come on
doing?
through. Sit down there. Bring up the chair for him.
Give
Bring
him
up the chair for
a
him.
shot.
Bring
I
up the
know
chair.
he's wasted. He's
Bring up the
wasted.
chair for him. Bring up the chair for him. Okay, now Admiral Byrd is here with us, okay? So now I'm speaking directly to Admiral Byrd, okay? So every single planet that I could find within our fucking observable universe does not follow this hollow Earth
Why do you refer to that, though?
hole because
So are we supposed to have a ring because Saturn has
there's-
rings?
No, because there's a no. There's a
Why?
certain. I could explain to you the laws as to why Saturn
Why we
has
have
rings,
one moon?
and also Uranus has rings.
Exactly. Why do
And
we have
also,
rings?
plenty of other planets I could show out there have rings.
Why do we
other
have
planets
rings?
have moons.
Is there a planet that has rings that have lives?
Yes, other planets. No, but what I'm saying is show me. Look, there's other planets that have rings. There's other planets that have moons.
So now
we
all
know
planets
how
can be-
planets
all planets
develop
can be
rings.
different.
What if this ring is man-made?
It's not man-made. We know how the rings of Saturn
No,
develop.
I'm not the rings. What if the whole hollow Earth is man-made?
What
it's
if we
man-made?
discovered it?
No, what if it's man-made?
Hey, you got me.
What if it's exclusive to only Earth because it's man-made? Someone made it. Some society made it.
I don't know. About
I agree,
that.
dude. I'm on a bird side now. That just got me. I'll be
You're on
honest
the
with you.
bird side.
The bird is the word. The word of bird.
Dude, we drilled that shit.
Bro, but look, going back to the UFOs, what the fuck is wrong with you? I was not saying that. Alright? Look,
What the fuck is wrong with you?
okay, I was not saying that. You're
Okay,
saying
wait,
that organic life cannot.
wait.
So you don't believe that.
Before this case
You don't
opens
believe.
up
Wait,
again.
wait. You-
Before this case opens up again, I'm gonna need a smoke break. Alright, you may have the floor, Mr. Bennett.
Look, so you're saying that organic life cannot travel that fast, right? During the G-force, right? That's what you said?
Hey, do you know what G-force
Wait,
is?
wait,
I understand what G-force is.
Hey,
He
what
has
is-
the
what
floor.
is- okay.
Hey, Eric has the floor.
Whoa.
Eric has the
This is
floor.
my floor.
No, he asked me a question,
Hey,
Your Honor.
this is my floor.
Your Honor, I'm on the
I
stand.
didn't know you're not.
I'm on the stand.
You're not on the stand.
It's
Yeah.
hypothetical. Hypothetical.
All right. So what if there's an engine? What if there's an engine, right, that can create gravity? But besides, I don't believe gravity. I think gravity is waves too. That's another story. But look, what if it could create its own gravity, right? To a certain point where it doesn't even feel the G-force or the inertia. What if it's so technologically advanced that it could do that? What if millions of years advanced than us? How long did we survive? How long have we been living in this planet? And look what we have.
Okay. So, let's define. Let's agree. Let's come to an agreed upon understanding as to what is gravity. What is gravity?
We don't know what gravity is, to be honest.
Okay, no.
You know that.
Yes, you just talked. Okay, so
Do we know
You know
everything
that.
about gravity? So we discovered everything about gravity.
No, we have not, sir.
So is that your argument? So his argument is maybe we're civilization.
All we know is that it involves weight. That's all we do know, right?
No, that's not all we know.
It involves weight, though.
Okay, so let me tell you what
It's
my
the bending
understanding
of the space
Thank you.
around
Thank you.
Okay.
that makes objects sink.
That's what I'm getting.
Theoretically.
At.
Alright.
Gravity is not a force, right?
Mm-hmm.
What we understand
It
is
bends
that
space.
there's space. We have a three-dimensional plane in which we live in that we call space, right?
Right.
Objects, this is as far as we know, right?
Yeah.
As far as we know,
Yeah.
objects that have immense amounts of mass, right? The
Mhm.
more anything that has mass
Right.
bends space,
Right.
right? To a certain extent,
To a
right?
certain degree.
So if you have something that has a lot of mass, it's going to bend space a lot,
Right.
and the space essentially becomes like a funnel, right? So something that's being drawn towards Earth, it's not because Earth is like a magnet drawing it in. It's because it is bending the space around
So
it.
that's
Right?
why they say
so
Saturn,
here,
or-
yeah. So here's let me get finished with this. So
Uh-huh.
so the reason I have a problem with this gravity controlled or powered mechanism you're talking about
Yeah.
is because how could you contain this gravity that you're talking about
Mhm.
without it affecting things that are around it, right? Because if there were
But
these
that's about the laws of our physics, though. What if it's different in their
no,
dimension or whatever they are? wherever they're from?
When you say our physics, that's not humans' physics. That's the physics of our plane and our reality that
What
we
if it's
live
not from
in.
our reality, though?
What are we talking about?
Okay, so what is
That's what I'm
define? No,
talking
okay,
about.
define universe. Define universe. Are these people that? Okay, hold on. Before I ask that, are these people
They're
that you're talking about?
interdimensional, dude.
So they're not in our universe? Okay, but when they travel to our universe, do they follow the laws of our universe?
We do not know as
No,
we speak.
so, okay,
But
so
right now,
so that's where we would disagree. If you're saying, okay, I'll give you there's other dimensions.
Right.
I'll give you there's other people living in those dimensions.
Right.
What I won't give you is if these people can somehow travel to our dimension, that they follow our physics and our laws of
I don't
physics.
think they would because they're coming from theirs to ours.
So if you're in our dimension, you follow our laws. If you're in America, if you're in fucking America,
But how do we know that for sure, though?
you can speak freely. You could carry the sticky on your side, right? If you travel from fucking a Xenon 497 dimension into fucking our dimension,
So what would
right?
happen?
We have this shit called gravity. Okay, only things that have a large amount of mass can cause it, and it affects the things around it. You can't contain it.
Well, can you, will you make the argument humanity with technology, we're able to manipulate these laws of nature?
No, we cannot manipulate the laws of nature. Absolutely not.
You
Humans
manipulate
can.
matter.
Well, we use-
Within the laws, though.
We use these laws
We
to
don't-
make, to have technology.
Yeah, but but you're saying laws, right? We can't bend. The laws are set. We're playing within parameters. It's like a game of chess, right? If me and you sit down and play a game of chess, right? And then you kick a ball at me, that's not chess, right?
Isn't there-
You have to play within the rules of chess. There's only certain pieces, they move a certain way, right?
So we found
we're
all the
within the
an-
universe
so we
that
found
has
all the
certain
answers
laws.
of science.
You can't kick a kickball at me while we're playing chess. You can't have gravity without large amounts of mass in our universe.
Isn't there like over 10 elements that are not natural?
that are
That we influence?
the heaviest naturally occurring element is I think it's 92, which is uranium. It might be 82, but I think it's 92, which is uranium, and I think we're up to like 118 now.
And
so
that's-
every 93 to 118 is man-made.
Alright, so it's not made in nature.
Correct.
So we had an influence on making that, right? By
It's not on Earth. Doesn't mean it's not in our universe. Our universe is large. It's not on Earth. And even uranium, look, as here's the thing, okay? As elements, what you're saying there, and I do have some chemistry background. I'm a chemical engineering major. I don't have my degree yet, but I feel like I know more than the average bear when it comes to chemistry. Heavier elements are less naturally occurring.
alright,
The heavier the element is, the less naturally it does occur. And the harder it is for that atom itself to stay stable, right? Hydrogen, a bunch of it, right? Because there's just one proton, one neutron, right? It's really easy to hold all that together. Uranium, you've got 92 of those motherfuckers. It's really hard to hold all those together. That's why 93, whatever 93 is and beyond, those aren't naturally occurring, meaning we haven't found them here, because it's really hard to hold all of that shit together without it going, which it does. It just goes. We can make them if we smash a bunch of atoms together, and we can observe them for fractions of a second, because after fractions of a second they go.
So you think one day we can make some technology that can make it more stable? Is that possible? One day,
sure.
50 years from now?
Sure, but the whole thing, and I'm going into Bob Lazar here. Bob Lazar says that element 115, which is heavier than uranium, right, is what made this reactor that created gravity. I don't think adding what's 115 minus 92. What's that? 102 minus 12. That's 23. I don't think adding 23 protons to atoms and getting a bunch of them together. I still don't think that makes something heavy enough with the size that we've seen in these Tic Tacs to create gravity. You understand what I'm saying? Look, here's my position, and this is backed by evidence. This isn't backed by hoopla. The only way we know as of now that gravity occurs is large, immense amounts of mass. That's it.
I just said that.
Uranium doesn't create gravity, so why would an element with just 23 more protons do so?
Probably is the way it's used. We still haven't found out. That's why it's so. That's why it's so like top secret, because we still don't know. Probably we do now. I don't know. And they're keeping it on the hush.
Would either of you like to say anything to our podcast guest? Can I introduce our podcast guest? Our first guest of the podcast?
Go ahead, Mr. Jameson.
He has a first name too. It's John Jameson. He has some sons that said they might come. I don't think they can make it though. So John Jameson is our first guest of the podcast. He'll make a couple more appearances. You might have seen him before. It's actually been pretty rude for us not to acknowledge him and introduce him up until this point. Would you agree?
That's pretty rude.
It was pretty rude. But
It's
now
Should've put him on the scene.
he's a pretty easygoing guy.
Should put him on the
He's a
scene,
pretty
at
easygoing
least.
guy. Let's bring him up one more time. He's a pretty easygoing guy. I think he'll forgive us. He'll forgive us. He might reappear. He might reappear on the podcast.
He just said sorry.
Podcast.
That was him saying sorry.
Toast to Mr. Jameson, please. You know, my good friend H2O always on the podcast. You know, H2O is very H2O is always a recurring guest in our podcast, guys. Mr. Gatorade and a few.
Gatorade.
So,
Bro,
go on, Mr. Eric.
I mean, says you're not with the UFO talk or the interdimension. So you don't believe that they could cross dimensions?
Very plausible.
Look, I told you this. Look, okay, I cede you the argument that there's other dimensions, right? Even though if you really hold me down and put me on a polygraph and you ask me, are there other dimensions?
Yeah.
I would say no.
Okay.
But I'll give you that, right? And I'll give you that if there was beings in this other dimension, they could cross into ours, right?
Yeah.
Okay. I'll give you that, even though I don't believe
What
that. But
about,
I'll give you that.
What about multiple universes?
Yeah, but universes, dimensions, potato, right? Because I asked him, and we kind of skirted across it. Because look,
Even Stephen Hawking.
here's something. There's someone I watch on YouTube, and he said, when you're arguing with someone or you have a disagreement with someone, make sure, like he said, do things. Define your terms, and he said a useful tool is before you make any sort of stance or points about your argument, reiterate the argument the person just made to you in such a way that they said, damn, I wish I had said it that way. You understand what I'm saying? Before you even say anything about your point, so that you reiterate to the person that you understand and you're on the same page with them. And then maybe they could say, no, that's not what I think, and then you come to an agreed upon understanding until you do, right? So let's define our terms, right? Okay. universe, in my terms, and tell me if you disagree with this, is the realm in which cause and effect exists. And if you want me to elaborate on that further, it's anything that we could have, doesn't mean we did, it just means we had the ability to. Anything in which we could have interacted with in the past, or anything in which we will have the ability to interact with in the future. That is our universe, right? Because to just say universe is everything, that's not a useful definition at all, right? Universe is the realm in which cause and effect exist.
Okay.
Okay?
Yes.
And if you wanna get more technical, there's certain laws of physics in our universe, right? That are defined, right? That are not malleable. You can't change them, right?
All right.
Okay? We agree on that?
Yeah.
Okay. So what I'm saying is I'll give you, there's other universes or other dimensions,
Okay.
and I'll give you that if there's life forms in these universes, dimensions,
Right.
that they could cross their dimension or universe into our dimension or universe. I'll give you both of those things. What I won't give you is that the laws of the dimension or universe in which they were once in apply to the universe, our universe, that they are now in, just because that's the one that they've traveled from. Once these entities or beings travel into our universe, they follow our laws of physics, which they can't bend or.
I was saying, what if they're already technology advanced, advanced, that they could create UFOs, like a craft like that?
Okay, so here's I'm gonna change your argument for you.
What if it's the future
hold on.
going to the past?
Hold on, I'm gonna change your
in
argument
the
for
same
you.
Earth.
What I think you meant to say was, what if they're so technologically advanced that they have come up with the ability to mold or form or change the laws of their own dimension or universe, so that then when they come over here, they already have that technology, and then they can change the laws and physics of our universe because they've already figured out how to do that in their dimension. Is that what you're saying?
Yes.
Okay.
Wait,
I disagree with you on that,
Okay.
and I don't think we'll ever agree on
I
that.
think
because
Mr. Denizard is saying, all right, I think his point is in fact not exactly changing the laws of the universe. They already mastered the laws of the universe.
What do you mean master?
So, for our understanding of gravity, do we know everything about gravity? Do we know absolutely everything? Do we know everything?
No.
Yes or no? Okay.
No.
So what if this society was made, or this whatever fucking this society of fucking organisms,
enlightened ones, I don't know.
these societies of organisms that lived in a different universe, they were 500 years more advanced, or like 500 years more. This society is 500 years older than ours, so they have 500 years of more advanced technology.
Stop. 500 million. Half a billion.
Okay, it doesn't matter what the number is.
Because 500 is dick compared to like evolution.
The number doesn't matter.
A lot of time.
Oh, they have a great amount of time.
A gap.
1,000 years.
They were able to master or know they already have way more knowledge of gravity.
Okay.
Okay, with fucking 5 million years worth of more knowledge of gravity, and they come to our universe. So they're better understanding of the natural world. They can use technology, however you want to word it. They can use their technology in that advanced way to do UFOs that can travel.
To create some sort of propulsion system, or maybe.
I think that's what he's trying to get at. Not exactly bending the laws, but understanding the laws better to work it on their way.
Okay.
Because like we understand thermodynamics now.
Right. Thermodynamics, that's heat. The way heat moves.
So
heat changes
we use that to make rockets. Or whatever. To travel on rockets, right?
That's involved, sure.
Travel on rockets.
Yeah, the rockets aren't cold, they're hot, yes.
Okay, so 300 years ago, were there rockets? Or like, was rockets this advanced? Were they making rockets?
I don't think there was any rockets 300 years ago made by Homo sapien. No.
How about flight?
No, I don't
Even
think we were
flight?
off the ground. No.
Okay.
No.
So you'll make the case we understand the natural world more because we can make technology that's affecting our world with these laws. We're using the same laws that are already in place, but we know the laws better. What if these people knows the laws even more than us?
What if
In
they
nature.
know- What if they
they understand gravity more?
What if
than
they
us?
conquer consciousness as well?
That's another good theory. All right.
They've mastered consciousness.
I hear what all of you are saying, okay?
So you still say no.
Look, here's what I'm going to say. Okay. I hear the argument where you say, do we as humans fully understand gravity? And I would say no, because we don't. But I think we understand it to an extent that we know these crafts are not large enough to create gravitational pull. Let me explain it to you
They
this
aren't
way.
large.
Let me explain it to you this
How
way.
large do you think they
okay.
are?
Let me go biblical on you. Okay. All right. I'm not a religious guy, so I don't believe in the Bible. Okay. My Bible is the scientific method. Okay. That's my Bible. Okay. You see that H2O there? That dihydrogen monoxide? That liquid water? Okay. What if I told you there were some interdimensional beings that traveled here and they could turn that into wine? Would you find that plausible?
I'll see it to
Convert.
They, without lifting the cap, you just take that and it turns into fucking Pinot Grigio, motherfucker.
I'll see it to believe it.
Don't you think we understand molecular chemistry to the extent that you can't do that?
I can't answer
We
that
don't-
question. Like, maybe.
Do we understand everything about what is the atom? Fuck no. But do we understand it to the extent that you can't just
We don't know that though, man.
turn that into wine?
We don't know that though.
Yeah, no.
I mean, not the wine
So, okay,
shit.
Okay,
but-
you're claiming we don't. I'm claiming we do.
So you know all of
What
it.
if? Okay, so what is the molecules in this doing? Right? What are they doing?
What are they doing?
What is doing right now?
Vibrating, right?
Okay, you want to get technical?
Yeah, right. They're moving.
You want to know what the third law of thermodynamics is?
Yeah.
The third law of thermodynamics states that you could Google this just to correct me. No, take your phone
Do it
and
in
Google
layman
this.
terms. Layman terms.
No, I'll do it quickly, but I just want you to double check me. Just
You want
Google,
me to-
just go on quick and Google third law of thermodynamics. And if I say anything that's wrong, correct me. And if I'm spot on, just don't say
Let
anything.
me go
Okay?
Christian.
The third law of thermodynamics states that an absolute crystalline solid at absolute zero has an entropy of 0. So I'm going to have to define a few terms for you there. Entropy is essentially randomness, right? But when we talk about the entropy of a single molecule or of a single atom, right? Entropy of an atom or of a molecule means 3 things, okay? Am I correct about this baseline? Yes? Okay, so, sure, okay. So every single atom or molecule at every point in time is moving in 3 ways. It is tessellating, meaning it's going like this. It is spinning or rotating, meaning it's going like this or the other way, but it's spinning, right? And then it's vibrating, meaning it's just going like this, right? So it's this, right? Spinning and vibrating, right? Okay? That's entropy, right? And the extent to which they're doing that is how entropic they are, right? So if something were to have an entropy of 0, it would be doing none of all of those movements, meaning it would be absolutely still, right? And so I'll repeat it again. An absolute crystalline solid at absolute 0 would have an entropy of 0. The 2 things I mentioned, an absolute crystalline solid and absolute
So
0.
Zero kinetic energy involved.
Correct. Both of those things we haven't been able. They don't exist, meaning humans haven't been able to achieve them. Meaning we have not been able to achieve an absolute crystalline solid. And what a crystalline solid is, the absolute of a crystalline solid would be an amorphous solid. An amorphous solid is something where its atoms, if you were to look at them at the smallest level possible, are arranged in a manner that is not uniform or ordinary. It's completely random. Where a crystalline solid will be completely proportional and uniform in how their molecules are arranged. there's no such thing as an absolutely crystalline solid. There's very crystalline solids, but there's no such thing as an absolute crystalline solid, and there's no such thing as absolute zero, or at least we haven't been able to achieve it. And that's what that is a 0 Kelvin or negative 273 degrees Celsius. I don't know what the Fahrenheit is, but that's absolute zero. We haven't been able to achieve that. We've gotten to like negative 272.98 degrees Celsius or 0.01 degrees Kelvin, but we haven't gotten to 0 Kelvin, right? So, but if we could achieve an absolute crystalline solid and we could achieve absolute zero, in theory, if you could have that in that environment, all of the molecules in that would be absolutely, completely, 100% still, with zero movement whatsoever. But we haven't been able to achieve that.
So,
But that's the third law of thermodynamics.
so what is this water doing right now?
Well, it's in a liquid state, so it's very loosely held together.
Yeah. It's vibrating,
It's vibrating,
spinning.
tessellating, and spinning.
All right. And would you say the wavelengths? There's wavelengths involved in here? In this bottle of water?
Good question. I haven't gotten that far. Is there?
It's creating wavelengths.
Well, vibrations are wavelengths.
So yes.
Vibrations are wavelengths.
Very
yeah.
much.
Absolutely, sure.
Can we see that happening?
Not with the naked eye.
All right. So what if this higher dimensional being Eric's referring to, you can see it?
Can they manipulate it?
What's the point? What if they can? What if they can? But what if they can?
Mm-hmm.
If they can manipulate it, then they can turn it to water to wine.
Look, here's what I'm saying. Okay,
I'm just saying that the higher interdimensional conscious being
Yes.
Eric's talking about can
Yeah.
very well do that. That's very plausible. This
Sure.
very hypothetical being.
And I love the term you just used there, plausible. Look, I'm not completely ignorant of what you guys are saying. I could conceive the reality you guys are speaking about. What I'm saying is, it's more plausible that that is not true. That's all I'm saying. I think that you cannot manipulate. There's certain natural laws of our reality that are immalleable. They cannot be manipulated. And this is something I touched on the last podcast, right? Certain people are thankful for Jesus, right? Certain people are thankful for Allah. I'm thankful for this human population chart that if this was the end of it, right? This is for the present day, and this was 100,000 years ago, right about fucking a millimeter before that, it went zoom. And if it wasn't for that zoom, 99% of us weren't here. Why are 99% of us here and that zoom happened? Science.
Okay.
And us understanding that this reality that we're living in is not controlled by some being. It's not just fucking happenstance. No, it's in a way set in stone, and we understood it to the best of the ability, right? That's what I believe in, right? And I'm so fucking passionate about that. I will die on that fucking hill. Bury me on that hill. Bury me on the hill that says that there's certain natural laws of our reality that cannot be manipulated regardless of where the fuck you come from or how badly or greatly you understand them. I'll die on that hill. Fucking shoot me on that hill.
What are your thoughts on this?
because just how passionate people are about Jesus or Allah or how thankful for their existence, I'm just as passionate about that. But for that, and that is science and us understanding that there's certain natural laws of our universe.
So you're saying even high conscious beings won't be able to do that? Do you know?
I think we're pretty fucking conscious,
but not high, but not to what we used to be.
Can you control your intrusive thoughts?
Can you hear people's thoughts? Can you
Are you very aware?
You levitate.
Are you aware of every subconscious decision you've ever made in your life? No. So how conscious are you? Not very. Not very. Everything you do is biased on you. Every decision you make is biased on your little form of thinking, and you're not aware of it. So here's how conscious are you?
Like, remember when you got those fish fillets? That was your subconscious. That wasn't
Why
you.
Wendy's?
Had to have been like episode 2 or 3. Prior to that, I downed 2 Wendy's Alaskan premium codfish sandwiches,
God.
plain with cheese and mayo, and a
Double the
double
mayo?
stack, plain with cheese and mayo.
Did you get any baconator fries?
I did not get bacon fries. Can I just really quick? This just takes 10 seconds. I don't want to name any names, but there's someone we all know who I think may be a viewer of the podcast, who at some point in his life, and maybe even today, very much so enjoys a American cheese, mayo, and white bread sandwich. You know who this is, right?
Very aware of this
Are
person.
you aware of who this is?
No.
We'll tell you
But
about that after the podcast.
Why would they choose?
Does he watch the podcast?
I think he's watched some parts. Yes, I think he is a supporter. But
We'll tell you after.
but what made him decide to eat cheese and mayo?
No. I just wanted to spend 10 seconds on it. We're not talking about it anymore. We're not talking about it.
That's disgusting.
What made you eat those cod sandwiches?
It's Alaskan premium cod. It's better than the Filet-O-Fish. The Filet-O-Fish is tasty. It is good. If you're in the mood for a fish sandwich, it satisfies the craving.
Did it have tartar
It is
sauce?
not. I hate tartar sauce. I don't fuck with what is called a pickle.
If they ask, oh, you want some tartar sauce, we will take it.
I don't eat tartar sauce with anything.
What about guac? Are you a fan of guac?
On a fish sandwich?
Yeah.
No.
Avocado and fish sounds
No.
strange.
No. Hey, this is gonna be a 2-hour podcast, by the way. I'm just gonna say that right now.
So
2-hour podcast.
your Chipotle bowl, what does it consist of? Double guac?
First of all,
How about the
if
triple B?
you get a poll, you sit down when you if you go into Chipotle and you order a bowl, you sit down when you pee.
I have a very
You order a
strong-
bowl?
I have a
Oh,
no, wait.
God, that's
I have a
crazy.
strong argument against that.
Stand up.
'Cause
I
Stand up
order
when you pee,
only
bro.
burritos from Chipotle.
Wanna know why?
Why?
I get a bowl with the tortilla. I can make a burrito and a bowl and have more food consumed.
So you
So
start
what-
peeing
so what
when
you're
you're in the
saying-
toilet
so
and
what-
then you stand up.
Yeah, no. So no. Yeah,
That's
no.
right.
What he's saying is he sits down when he pees, but
Right.
he wipes. He wipes his puss so that
And then
it
he
doesn't
gets up.
dribble.
And then he gets up.
Yes, that's what he's saying.
What I'm saying
Yeah.
is I get more bang for my buck. I'm
Right?
saying
Pay for a duck.
I get more bang for my buck. I get more food. You get more rice and chicken in a bowl than a burrito.
No, that's true.
Okay,
That's
so
true.
I make my own burrito and I still got rice and chicken and cheese left.
Bro, I don't want no more food, bro. I'll
I
tell
want
you.
more food. I'm about calories. I
Hey,
eat for
man.
calories. I see food as calories.
So you take the extra
I see
cheese and
food as
rice.
fucking numbers.
Hey, I see time as money, and that time that you take to all that onto the burrito,
I'm
and
fucking eating that shit, bro. I'm like, what you
I'm
doing,
like
bro?
halfway done with my burrito already.
We're eating the burritos. We're fucking watching the game. and
I'm
this guy's
already
preparing
on the
his burrito,
toilet
bro.
shitting out my Chipotle by the time you've taken your first bite.
Nah. But that's bad that you eat that fast. How do you know if you're hungry? Your hungry receptors won't activate.
You probably have a fish fillet with it too.
This good. So man, you want to keep your blinders there?
Yeah, man. it's-
Have you finished it?
No, not yet. It's pretty long. It's pretty long.
What season are you on?
I'm on the part where, like, they found out what's his name? Paulie has a son, and they're cheesing. He's already in the family business, and it's
Michael.
fire. Michael.
I
He turned into a G, bro. He turned into a G.
You're the piece of shit. That's what I gotta say. You're a piece of shit.
But no, man, I feel like Breaking Bad is just.
You gotta watch season 4 and 5.
Breaking Bad is the best dramatic TV show.
Would you say? Would you say that the chemistry in the show is accurate?
Methamphetamine. That's the only chemistry involved.
I don't. Honestly, I'm gonna say this, and I think it's safe to say this. I think Walter White's understanding of chemistry is well above mine. I'm not gonna pretend to be on the same level as him. That's Heisenberg.
What was that book? Remember the book?
Book? What about the book?
The Walter White book.
What Walter White book?
You remember he gave it to that guy?
No.
You don't remember? Bro, that's how we got caught.
Oh, how he got caught.
Yeah, the
okay.
book.
Yeah, his assistant, who had he was obsessed with Walt Whitman.
Yeah.
He got the same initials as Walter White.
W.
And Hank, his brother-in-law, had like already caught Gale because Jesse, his other boy, had killed him, and so he had already basically raided his apartment, and so he got a bunch of evidence, and of that evidence was like him being obsessed with Walt Whitman, which was WW, which is the same initials as Walter White, and then Gale, before he died, had gifted a copy of Leaves of Grass by Walt Whitman to Walter White, Heisenberg. He had gifted it to him, and Walt Whitman kind of thought like, and he didn't think, it's kind of like a fact that Gale was he's a fucking crazy guy. So he didn't think much of this book, so he just put it as a fucking shit book, which is like the books you put by your toilet,
Yes.
by your house, for like people to read while they're taking a shit. So Hank had taken a shit, and then he grabbed one of the books, and he's like, to WW, and then he realized, oh shit, it was the same handwriting, I guess. He had known that's how he found out, yeah. Go watch fucking Breaking Bad if you haven't watched it yet.
Just spoiled
Fucking, what are you doing with your life?
Just spoiled the entire ending.
And then he see you watch it.
I just spoiled the whole show.
Yeah, go watch it.
Hey, now that I told you what the whole show's about, go spend 3 days of your life watching it.
Hold up. I was about to tell you guys that I watched Nope.
Oh no, the Jordan Peele film.
I personally think is his best project. 100%.
Better than us?
Better than us. I give it a solid 8.5 out of 10.
What's the other one?
Get out.
Get Out. Is it right? He's gonna get nominated for sure, right?
What's it called again? Nope.
No. But like the trailer and everything is like completely off of what it is.
Did you say
It's
it's
so like
connection-
No spoilers. I haven't
Is there
seen
some
it yet.
connection to previous films?
no
No connection.
connection at all.
You think all these, because you consider these films to be like strange, right?
Right.
All three of them.
Right.
Well, you think at one point he was a certain type of connection that they're in the same universe? You know, like the Marvel universe, or
I mean, they already use
What's
the
the
same
other
guy.
one?
He's a
Split?
different guy. The guy's different from Get Out.
oh, they use the same guy
He's the same guy.
The same actor?
Yeah.
with different characters.
Right. But like,
I heard Stephen King's like the Stephen King universe is crazy.
it's just wild. He's one of my favorite. Stephen King's fly. But
I think in one they have like a bunch of books, and there's like a main series. I think it's called The Tower.
Oh.
And but yeah, it'll have like Cujo and shit.
Oh yeah,
You know
yeah,
Cujo,
yeah,
right?
yeah, yeah.
And like I think in The Tower, it references it because it's like he's like walking, like he's walking to the tower or something, and like out in the distance he hears Cujo barking. It'll be shit like that.
What the fuck?
Like he'll hear the Cujo barking and shit. Like it's all the same. It's crazy. There's a lot of connections.
That cemetery was fire. That cemetery.
Goosebumps.
What? Oh, bro, yo, I think he's gonna get like, because the way it is like a new theory to UFOs. It's not the shit that we were talking about at all either.
I'm gonna have to watch it. But what was the movie you guys watched most like during during school? You got nothing to do to put on a movie. What would you say was like the most watched movie you watched throughout school? Like they always put it on.
Oh,
I already know.
It's not a question. It's not a question. It's literally not even a debate. It's probably double whatever is in second place. It's National Treasure with Nicolas Cage. I've been shown that in school probably 6 times.
Mine is easy. Ratatouille. I watched Ratatouille so many fucking times in school.
When did you watch Ratatouille past the 8th grade?
I don't know, but I watched it so. I never watched fucking National Treasure in high school at all.
How about the Polar Express? Everyone saw the Polar Express in
Oh,
school.
I saw that shit a lot too. I think I seen Ratatouille more.
Nah.
I seen Ratatouille a lot in elementary.
I seen the Polar Express, the Lion King.
Okay, yeah, that's what I'm saying. In elementary school,
Yeah.
sure. No one's
I never watched
no
National
high school
Treasure.
teacher is viewing Ratatouille for the class.
Only watched National Treasure in my 6th grade geography class. That's the only time I ever watched it.
I think I watched Ratatouille in my cooking class. And some other shit. Whole neck and shit,
I
bro.
watched it a lot, bro. I've seen it a lot.
Oh man. How about Madagascar? You said
I never put it on. The best, but honestly, bro, what's his name? Mr. K? Yeah, Mr. K, right?
Lakaka.
Yes. He low-key, like, towards the end of the year, he was putting on some fire movies. Like, we were watching, like, fucking the Marvel movies and shit. We watched Black Panther in this class. Bro, that was my favorite teacher. Bro, I think that, I'm pretty sure that's, like, the only teacher I can say that was, like, high during class.
Oh wait, hold on. I'll mention his name after the podcast. That's not relevant to mention this. But you guys probably knew who he was. I had this kid in class with this teacher we're talking about. His name is Mr. Klakatka. Okay. Mr. Klakatka. Okay. Would drink from his mug, right? Okay. Let's pretend this was a mug. Okay. Pretend it had a handle, right? Now I was grabbing it by the handle, but I'm gonna grab it like this, okay? And it had coffee in it, right? Okay? And there's no straw. And you see how, like, the level of this Mr. Jameson that's in here, right? You see how it's flat, and the only way I could drink this is if I tilt it to drink it, right? There's no way I'm drinking it if it's at level like this with gravity, like we were just talking about, right? Unless I have a straw, right? Okay. So Mr. Klakatka would hold a mug up to his mouth like this. Look, this is exactly what he would do, okay? He'd be working on an assignment, right? He would have a coffee mug, which most students would assume has coffee in it, right? He would grab it by the handle, which I don't have, so I'm gonna grab it like this. He would hoist it to his mouth at level height without tipping it, and then push it down to the table. What would you two gather from that?
That boy dipping.
That boy fucking's got a fat lippy. He's got some fucking fat lips.
That boy.
He's spitting. He's got chewy tobacco. Did you ever notice that? Okay, and let me just say this. The guy, I'll tell you afterwards. I don't think you know, but I think you know. The guy I was in the class with, he was a hockey player. And I don't know about you guys, but what I gathered from hockey players is that they dip tobacco more so than the average population. And he's the one who pointed it out to me. He's like, look at when he drinks coffee. He doesn't tilt the mug. He just holds it up to his mouth, and he was doing it facing away from us too. But he would just hold the mug to his mouth level, and then put it back down. Did you ever notice that about him?
Someone in my class pointed it out. Yes, so I knew.
He had a fat lippy every time. He was one of my favorite teachers too. He told me about this. Look,
that was my nap class. I went in that class every day.
He was
out, bro. He never said shit to me. Never.
He was an English teacher, and class periods were an hour long at the high school we went to. And what this guy would do for at least the first 20 minutes of class, maybe 30 minutes of class, what he would do would be talk about whatever the fuck he wanted to. More often than not, had nothing to do with literature or the language of English whatsoever. I don't know if he did this with your period, because I didn't have him with him.
He did that with my class as well.
Oh, like the first 20 minutes, you just walk in there and you'd be like, what am I going to hear about today?
And then I had students that would purposely push the conversation.
Yes.
Talking longer.
Dude, he told me about this one day, okay? He said, I don't know if you guys are aware of this, but the United States Air Force has a weapon that is known as the Rods of God. Did he tell you about this? He told my fucking class about this, okay?
I don't remember anything he told us.
With no context whatsoever, he opens with this. He's like, the United States Air Force has a weapon which they call the Rods of God, okay? And this is actually true if you Google it. This is true, okay? What the Rods of God is it's a satellite orbiting the Earth that the United States has that is holding I think he said 20 tungsten rods that are the size of telephone poles. That I believe when I Googled it, they're 3 feet wide and then 20 feet long, right? So they're telephone poles, right, of tungsten, which is a dense material, that are just sitting in the satellite, and this satellite can drop them towards Earth, where they just fall towards Earth with pinpoint accuracy, and when they were to hit the surface of Earth, they would be like the equivalent of 4 or 5 Hiroshimas, but there would be no nuclear fallout, right? Because there's no like actual like uranium or nuclear matter in there, right? It's just a tungsten rod, but just the force of when it hits it, it would be 4 to 5 Hiroshimas without any fallout from the nuclear. And he said there's 20 of them, and one of them would be 4 to 5 Hiroshimas. And he said we have that. And he said it's been declassified, and he said you'll never hear about this on the news. Really quick too, did he ever put on the 30-minute Jordan Peterson interview for your class with Kathy Newman? Okay,
Bro,
you're
sleeping,
fucking
bro.
asleep.
I was
You don't know what
asleep.
he's putting on. Okay,
Scott.
I don't. You know who Jordan Peterson is?
Of course I know
Okay,
Jordan
bro.
Peterson.
He put on Jordan Peterson like a 30-minute interview with him with some like news lady, and I could see like there were these girls. I'll never forget. There were like these girls who were like watching it, and they were like visually like disgusted. They were they're visually disgusted with what he had put on.
Jordan Peterson. What was
It's
he discussing?
the Kathy Newman interview. If any Jordan Peterson fan knows.
What was he discussing?
He was discussing, I think for the most part, the gender pay gap.
Nothing but facts. He probably spit.
Nothing but facts.
He was spitting nothing but facts. Bro, I was seeing this like public interview with Sneeko, I think. What was it, Sneeko?
Who?
This No, it wasn't Sneeko. It was someone else. But they're interviewing, doing public interviews, and he was discussing how to get more people to watch WNBA. And then he said if they're playing with nothing on and their titties are out, we think it'll get more viewership.
Yes.
Yes, I would agree. But he was asking women, how would you get more viewership on this? And do you know what their answer was?
What?
Put more money into it.
Look, you guys know Bill Byrd?
Of course.
Okay.
Yeah.
I'm gonna find it right now. Hold on. Keep talking. Give me 10 seconds.
But how would they make this money? To put more money into it.
Investors.
Invest into women's
Invest in
basketball. Every investor is buying the fucking Lakers, nigga. What the fuck? Every investor is buying the Knicks. They're not worried about the Sparks. LA Sparks, bro.
Bro, Brittany
Okay.
Griner is fucking.
Bro, Brittany Griner.
She's
Okay,
going
hold on.
forever,
Let's talk about that. That's a good topic. Let me say this really quick, okay? Shout out to Bill Byrd.
Wait.
He just released a Netflix special.
Can we say rest in peace on a different Bill that I may have dissed on this podcast?
Oh.
Bill who? Bill Russell?
Rest in peace, Bill Russell.
He died?
Yes.
When?
This morning.
Today.
This morning.
Pronounced dead. And we may have, I may have
Was
dissed,
it two science gods?
Yes.
I may have dissed Bill Russell,
Yes.
but that nigga played plumbers. Played
Okay.
plumbers.
Okay, hold on. Okay, look, this is a
So
quote.
the rebound.
This is
He's
a
Draymond Green, bro.
This is a quote from Bill Burr in his
You
latest
saw how he's
Netflix.
jumping? You saw how he jumped, right?
This is a quote from Bill Burr in his latest Netflix special. Okay, he said this. Okay, in regarding the WNBA, he said, "Look at the WNBA. They have been playing in front of 300 to 400 people a night for over a quarter century. Not to mention it's a male subsidized league. We gave you a league and none of you showed up. Where are all the feminists? That place should be packed with feminists. Faces painted, wearing jerseys, going fucking nuts like the guys do. None of you went to the fucking games. You failed them. Not me, not men. woman failed the WNBA and
100%.
every single professional women's sports league. And then he said, hey ladies, right now, name me your top 5 WNBA players all time. Go to your closest female you know and ask them, hey, what are your top 5 WNBA players all time? They will know one. And then this is what he said. He said, ladies, name me your top 5 WNBA players all time. He said, name 5 WNBA teams. Name me the fucking WNBA team in your city. He said, you can't do it. You don't give a fuck about them.
Facts.
Facts. Facts.
Yeah,
So
strikes.
can we,
Fucking mic drop.
Can we discuss the legacy of Bill Russell?
Can we talk about the legacy of Sue Byrd? Oh wait, no one cares. I'm sorry. Continue.
Bro, you know, I ate some chicken kitchen today. Speaking on Sue Byrd, I ate some pretty good chicken kitchen. Large bowl.
Did she make it for you?
No. I had a man make it for me.
What the fuck?
Damn, it would have been better if a woman did.
I have to disagree. Hey, who was more influential? Gordon Ramsay or Betty White? Not Betty White. Betty Crocker. Betty Crocker.
Gordon Ramsay.
All right, enough said. End of discussion. Anyways, can we discuss the legacy and the life and death of Mr. Bill Russell, please? How do you feel about those 11 rings?
I feel like he'd
The
go like
coaching ones
this.
And put one on his toe? Yo, you knocked over Jameson, bro. Oh my God.
You guys getting drunk, bro.
Jameson. Mr. Jameson.
Yo,
What are Mr. Jameson's thoughts of Bill
Bro.
Russell?
my thoughts on Bill Russell.
Has Bill
he was
Russell
always-
has Bill Russell had Mr. Jameson pull up to the parades? Was he at multiple parades with Mr. Bill Russell?
I don't know, man. I feel like. Okay, well, if anything, if Jameson were anywhere in America during that time, it would have been in Boston. That's where all the Irishmen are. That's where all.
So Scotch?
That's Scotland. Not Ireland.
Oh. what do Irish people drink?
Irish whiskey.
Oh,
They drink fucking Jambo.
yeah. So yeah, it'll be in Boston, right?
But what I'm saying is I think across all of America, if you look at where the highest Irish heritage is, it's in the greater Boston, Massachusetts area. For sure in New England. I don't think Jameson was in America during that time. I think maybe he was worried more about whatever was going on in Ireland. Yeah, the homeland. Yeah.
It's an Irishman.
Irishman.
So, Bill Russell, 11 rings.
The ones when he was coaching counts.
Who did he coach?
He was a
Bucks.
coach?
Yeah.
He was a
Bucks.
coach?
Coached the Bucks. Coached I think the Celtics too. He won. I think he won 4 coaching or 3 coaching, something like that.
What?
Yeah, man. For a good amount of
During
coaching.
the 80s?
Yeah, I think so. Yeah. But he was winning with Sam Jones,
Can we make
Casey Jones and shit. I think. I don't know.
Can we make a discussion of the naming of the Larry Byrd trophy? Shouldn't it be the Michael Jordan trophy?
I mean, they try to do like a Magic Johnson and
Okay,
Larry
so-
Bird type of thing.
Are you saying that the trophy given to the Eastern Conference Finals MVP and the Western Conference Finals MVP those awards should be named after, since we're naming them right now as of 2022, that those awards should be named after whoever as of 2022 has been the best player in each of those respective conferences? And are you saying that both of them should be Michael Jordan and Magic Johnson?
I say it should be Michael Jordan and Kareem Abdul-Jabbar.
Okay. Eric? Do you have any rebuttal?
I mean, because I know why they did that, because of the rivalry between Magic Johnson and Larry Bird, and they'll have the rivalry of the East and West. I mean, it makes sense.
Rebuttal?
Someone made it out the East more. This should be their trophy. Simple as that.
Look, just stop talking and just.
But you know how the NBA likes to marketize their fucking franchise. So that's
Okay,
why.
who's more marketable, Air or Bird?
Air
No,
or Bird.
look, Byrd or.
Well, Magic Johnson, Larry Bird, they were a great duo.
I'd rather have
They're
fucking LeBron, bro, and Larry Bird.
the guy's still in the
Call it
league. While they still.
Call it the LeBron and Curry Award.
No, the Bird and Turd Award.
Whoa. So, Bill Russell,
What about him?
What is this?
is he top 10?
No.
Okay, so.
Einstein, that ass. No.
I,
Don't even, that's a terrible one. Don't even.
Alright. I'm not saying anything.
I'm drinking your sorrows away,
I'm
bro.
on my JMO.
Is that for Bill? Is that for Mr. Bill Russell? A very important topic in our show.
Bill,
Put some Irish in it, bro.
fucking Bill.
Do you think
Drinking an Irish accent.
It's for Bill.
Do you think the people of the 70s respected Bill in Boston? No,
Because
they didn't respect Bill. We all know why.
Why?
he was black.
They didn't give a fuck. They care more about Larry than Bill for a reason.
Yeah, bro. He has to break the color barrier.
John Havlicek.
Yeah, they care more about him. Bob Cousy, you know.
Bob Boosie.
No, man. I think if you really pulled all of Boston, Bill Russell's the most respected.
Larry Bird is more respected than him.
They barely respect Tatum. He's only got more respect because he's high.
Wow. They're gonna get striked.
No, we're not, man. No, we're not. So, guys, LeBron, is he gonna win again?
No. No chance. At all.
How is this Brooklyn Nets saga playing out?
From what it looks like, the Nets keep on denying trade offers.
So you think they don't even want to trade him, right?
They're actually more than they could give, man. They just have to bite the bullet, bro, and just trade that guy away.
They want an astounding amount of picks.
Yep.
I heard someone say that the Rudy Gobert trade drastically skewed the trade market.
Wow. No one wants that clown anyways.
No, but Rudy Gobert got traded to Minnesota for
Pebbles and rocks.
no. It was a considerable package that that Utah got in return
Who they got?
for Rudy Gobert.
What are your thoughts on the trade offered last week? Jalen Brown.
What I heard was
yeah.
the best offer that Brooklyn's heard so far was that it was like Jalen Brown, Marcus Smart, and a couple like first round picks for Kevin Durant.
How much do you think that this encourages Jalen Brown? That you can argue he performed better than Jason Tatum, and they're trying to trade him away.
We trade away Jalen Brown for a superstar.
For Jalen Brown, how do you feel about this?
I mean, if you're keeping Jason Tatum and you're getting a superstar back,
But
what is superstar?
So you rather have Jalen Brown and KD than Jason Tatum and KD than Jalen Brown and KD?
Yeah. Look,
But he
honestly,
outperformed Tatum.
Can't you look at it this way? If you're Jalen Brown, can't you say, "Wow, like I'm the top item in the package that is being traded for KD"?
No.
Can't you feel some pride as Jalen Brown in being the premier item in that package for KD?
So about how much trust between the owners and Jalen Brown. With that diminished.
No, but that's what I'm saying is the owners of the Celtics are putting you as Jalen Brown forward as the premier item in the package that will be traded for Kevin Durant, which is one of the best players we've ever seen to touch a basketball. Can you take some pride in that?
Slap in the face. That means you're saying I'm not good enough to win a ring.
Pretty much.
That is saying if I wasn't on a team and they bring another guy in, we would have won instead.
And we're talking about Kevin Durant here.
Well, okay, hold on. Are you saying Kevin Durant and? Okay, yeah, it is slap in the face.
But it's all business though.
Yeah, man, it is what it is. It is what it is.
Who's going to the Heat? What do you think?
No one.
Donovan Mitchell.
I don't know, man. He got sauced up by Paolo.
You saw Apollo went crazy and brutally, right?
Yeah, and he played Donovan Mitchell in open runs, and he humiliated him in front of everybody. So yep, I don't know how his confidence is now. He wants to go to the Heat. Bradley Beal signed an extension. So like,
Exactly what means signing an extension. I think we wrapped up here.
yeah, guys.
Mm.
What?
Nah.
What do you want to talk about?
What you gotta share to the folks?
Oh. I got it. So, I'm gonna switch the topic. We'll
I think you had too much Jameson. Are you driving?
no, I'm staying here, bro. I'm alright.
All right, you better
How
not
far
drive.
am I into this JMO?
Oh fuck.
Did you buy that today?
You did, dude. That shit was
I
full.
cracked it open when I brought
That
it.
shit was full, dog.
You drink a half a bottle. How often do you drink, JJ?
Occasionally.
Yo, this nigga's fucked up. Did
Yo,
you
you're
eat?
good, dude.
Did you eat, bro?
Yeah.
You need food ordered here?
No.
You might need some Wendy's ordered.
No.
You want
I
a
think
fish fillet?
I think you need to order some fish fillet, bro. And you need some agua.
I got Gatorade, bro.
Okay, but you need to take some peas. You gotta urinate. Remember, you gotta urinate. You have to urinate and make sure your stomach's not empty. That's all I gotta say. Hey man, I blacked out at a good friend's birthday. Mr. Jeffrey Charlemagne, who I will try to get on this podcast. 'Cause
Soon.
I think he has a lot of things to say. Coming from football, Kodak, life experience.
That's on the next episode, guys. Don't worry about it.
Jeff is a grown man, man. He experienced a lot in his youth. So I would like to hear some of his knowledge discussed on this podcast and his perspective of life.
You guys will soon know the name of Spade.
Nah. Alright. Let me end on this. Okay.
Alright.
I'm gonna go into the scientific sphere to end it.
Come on, man. You need some water, bro. You see this guy?
There's 4 properties of this right here. What is this?
Water.
Water. There's 4 properties of water that are essential to life. Organic matter. that as far as we know, if all 4 of them were not true, any life, as far as we know, would not be able to exist. Okay?
Can water exist without an atmosphere? Let's say Mars.
Sure.
We
Sure.
unfreeze the water on Mars.
An atmosphere is just a blanket of air.
Will it create air? Will it create an atmosphere?
Well, what create an atmosphere?
Water.
Sure, yes, that's what happened here.
So if we unfreeze the water of Mars, we'll create an atmosphere for Mars.
There's no water on Mars.
Elon
water?
It's frozen carbon dioxide.
Elon said that he's gonna nuke the poles of Mars to create an atmosphere, to create some sort of ozone.
But correct me if I'm wrong, Google this, but I believe the ice we found on Mars is not solid water.
It's not.
It's
You're right.
solid carbon dioxide.
Yeah, I think you're right. I remember seeing that.
But there's 4 properties of water that are essential to life. Okay. The first of which would be, okay, you get a glass, an empty glass, you go to your fridge, you fill it up with water and with ice. Okay?
Yes.
Does the ice float on top of the water or does it sink?
Float.
Floats, right? Is ice solid or liquid?
Solid.
Is water liquid or solid?
Liquid.
Okay. Most things more dense as a solid or as a liquid?
So most dense as a solid.
Yes. Okay. Ice is more dense as a liquid than as a solid. Reason being, when liquid water turns into ice, the structure it turns into is a crystalline. I was talking about this earlier. Is a crystalline structure, and that crystalline structure that forms, the atoms, the H2O atoms, right, are further apart in that crystalline structure as a solid than they are even when they're loosely drawn together as a liquid. In liquid water, the particles are more close together than when they are as a solid, because ice expands further than liquid water. The reason that's essential to life is, you've heard of the Ice Age, right? There's actually been at least 2 ice ages that we can record and document in Earth's history.
Are we heading towards another ice age?
That's another question. But in the 2 ice ages that we've been able to document,
So global warming's a scam.
that's another question. But in the 2 ice ages that we've been able to document, right? If solid H2O, which is what water is, right? If solid H2O, ice, was more dense than liquid H2O, water, right? During every single ice age, right? What would happen was the oceans, right, would freeze. And what freezes is the surface of the ocean, right? Because that's what's in most contact with the air, which is what's cold, which is what's going to freeze the water, right? So what's going to freeze first is the surface of the ocean, right? If ice was more dense than water, solid H2O was more dense than liquid H2O, right? What would happen was the surface of the water would freeze, turn into ice, and if that was more dense than the water, it would sink to the bottom, and then the surface would turn into ice and sink to the bottom, and then the surface of the ice would surface of the water would turn into ice and then sink to the bottom. And what would happen was all of the life forms in the water, and this is important to note, is that life evolved from water to land, not from land to water. Life started in the water and then evolved to be able to live on land, not the other way around. So at one point, all life was in water, right? So if the ice was more dense than the water, the ice would have frozen at the surface and sank, and it would have forced all of the life into more shallow and shallow water until they would have either 1, drowned, or 2, been crushed by the solid ice, right? But that's not what happened. The ice floated on top of the water and allowed for life to continue to exist under the solid ice. Because as far as we know, life cannot exist without liquid water, not solid water, ice, not gaseous water, water vapor, but liquid water, which is or liquid H2O, which is water, right? So that's the first property of water that's essential to life. It is more dense as a liquid than as a solid. Because most things, if you take solid iron, that's more dense than liquid iron, and I don't know if you can have gaseous iron, but it's more dense than gaseous iron, right? Typically speaking, a solid substance of the same composition is more dense than a liquid substance as the same composition, which is more dense than a gaseous substance of the same composition, right? Water does not follow that general rule, and because it doesn't follow that, we are here. Okay, that's the first rule. Second rule is something that is water is extremely cohesive, and it is extremely adhesive. Meaning, cohesive and adhesive meaning, cohesive means water is extremely attracted to water. It's attracted to other water. It's attracted to other water molecules, and it's also extremely adhesive, meaning water molecules are extremely attracted to other molecules that are not water. Right? Let me explain to you why that is essential to life. Okay? Have you ever heard of redwood trees?
I heard of that.
Okay.
Don't they grow very large?
There's certain redwood trees that are like 200 feet tall. Okay. Trees absorb water not through its trunk, not through its leaves,
To the roots.
not through its branches, but through the roots.
Yep.
Right? Okay. How does a redwood tree get water that falls from the sky, absorbs through the soil, and then they get it through their roots? Right? How do they get that 200 foot? How do they get that 200 feet up in the air? And how does a redwood tree get that water that it absorbs through its roots 200 feet up through its trunk? How does that happen?
The water keeps absorbing, and it keeps pulling,
Okay. Cohesive is attraction to your own molecules. Adhesion is attraction to other molecules. Water has strong abilities in both of them, meaning water is strong cohesion, and that's essential to life because of surface tension, right? Water, right? It has, if I were to continue to pour water in here, right, all the way until it was at the lip of here, right, I could pour it until it was even above where this is, right? Because the water is attracted to itself, right? Okay. There's certain properties there's certain proponents of life that wouldn't be able to exist if water wasn't attracted to itself, right? But with the redwood tree, what I'm talking about is the redwood tree doesn't. Okay, so you ever heard like 75% of the human body is water?
Yeah.
Okay, we're moving that through our body, right? But that's because of our heart contracting and going like this and pushing it through our body, right, in the form of blood, right? Okay, redwood trees, right? The vacuoles and the spaces where it holds that water, it's not like contracting to push that water 200 feet up in the air. The water pulls itself up through the vacuole of that redwood tree. Meaning there's a vacuole, which is just essentially like a vein, but for water instead of blood, right? The water is in this very thin vacuole, right? And it's sitting there, and it is so adhesive, meaning it is so attracted to molecules that are not water, meaning it is attracted to the walls of this tree in this very thin vacuole, that it's attracted to the walls, and it keeps essentially like going like this and pulling itself all the way 200 feet up into that redwood tree. That's how adhesive water is. And when I say adhesive, you know how like duct tape is an adhesive? I mean, if I had duct tape, it would stick to this wood,
Right.
it would stick to this plastic, it would stick to this glass.
It attracts
sticks
easily.
to whatever it is that's not what itself is, right? The opposite of adhesion is cohesion. Cohesion is sticking to whatever yourself is, right? Water is both cohesive and adhesive. Very few substances are like that, right? So first property, it's less dense as a liquid than as a solid, right? If that didn't happen, we wouldn't be here, right? Second property, cohesion and adhesion. Plants can pull water all the way through however tall it is, not because they're contracting muscles? No, because water can pull itself up there, right? Plants give us carbon dioxide, or plants give us oxygen, right? Plants produce oxygen, we produce carbon dioxide. We have like a cycling effect, right? We need oxygen, so plants produce that oxygen. If plants couldn't pull water up their fucking 200-foot redwood tree, they wouldn't be producing oxygen, which means we wouldn't be here, right? That's the second property. Third property is that it has a very low specific heat, okay? Let me tell you what specific heat is, okay? Specific heat is defined as the amount of energy needed to raise a gram of a substance by 1 degree Celsius, right? Okay? And energy has certain metrics, right? So a metric of energy is joules. You ever heard of joules? Joules of energy? Okay. So for example, okay, steel, right? If I had a gram of steel, 1 gram of steel, the amount of joules of energy I would need to apply to that gram of steel to raise it by 1 degree Celsius would be 0.433 joules of energy, okay? Right? 0.433, right? Okay? The amount of energy I would need to apply to a gram of water to raise it by 1 degree Celsius would be 4.33 degrees or 4.33 joules. It would be 10 times the amount of steel, right? So 10 times the amount of energy I would need to raise water by 1 degree Celsius as opposed to the energy I would need to raise steel by 1 degree Celsius, 1 gram of steel, right? Why is that relevant to energy? I mentioned this earlier. Or why is that relevant to organic life? I mentioned this earlier. You need liquid water for organic life, as far as we know. You can't have organic life form in ice. You can't have organic life form in water vapor, right? You need water, liquid water, right? So if liquid water had a low specific heat, meaning you barely needed to apply any energy to water to make it raise its temperature, right? What would happen is especially near the equator of Earth, you would have no oceans. Everything would be water vapor, right? Because that's where it's the hottest, right? But because you need such a significant amount of energy to apply to water, H2O, to raise it by 1 degree Celsius, you can have liquid water that could have such. That's why when, let's say it's really hot outside, let's say it's 100 degrees outside, the water isn't 100 degrees. Let's say it's like 80 degrees, right? That's because water has a high specific heat. You need to apply a lot of energy to it to raise its temperature, right? And if water would raise its temperature easily with a very low amount of heat, what you would have is water vapor everywhere. And you can't have life in water vapor. So around the equator, we still have oceans, right? If the specific heat of water was lower, or at least around the equator, you would have water vapor and you wouldn't have any life there. You guys understand what I'm saying?
Right.
Okay. The fourth and final property of water that is essential to life is it is a universal solvent, meaning you can dissolve any, mostly any solid matter in water. There's certain liquid substances where, let's say if I took sugar or salt or any solid substance and I put it in there and then I started stirring it around, for a lot of substances, no matter how much I stirred it around, no matter how violently I stirred it around, you would still be able to see that solid substance in there, right? Where versus water, it's gonna dissolve that and it's gonna be one homogeneous mixture. So therefore we could have salt water, where you couldn't have, let's say, a liquid CO2. If you put salt in there, it's not gonna dissolve in the CO2 or in the potassium chloride or in whatever substance you wanna name, whatever solid substance you put in there, it's not gonna dissolve in water, or it's not going to dissolve in whatever substance you want to fucking name as easily as it would dissolve in water. So, just to reiterate, because I'm done. There's 4 properties of H2O, 2 hydrogen atoms bonded to 1 oxygen atom, what we know as water in its liquid form, that are essential to life. 1, it is less dense as a solid than as a liquid. 2, it is it has very strong cohesive and adhesive abilities, meaning it is extremely strongly attracted to itself as well as other molecules. 3, it has a very high specific heat, meaning you have to apply a lot of energy to it to raise its temperature. And 4, virtually any solid substance you can dissolve in water in its liquid form. If one of those weren't true, let's say you couldn't dissolve any solid substance in liquid water and the other 3 were true, as far as we know, organic life wouldn't exist, at least on Earth. Because
the water is very important.
No, like, you can't, as far as we know in the laws of our universe, you cannot have organic life, as far as we know. And you need liquid water. You can't have ice or steam, water vapor. You need fucking this shit.
So the Mars is bullshit. The Mars freezing on the water, or whatever, carbonated frozen. The theory of melting it.
I never heard of that
It's a
before,
big
no.
hoax.
Yeah, I never.
We talk about melting out. They're talking about heating up that water, or that ice.
Ridiculous.
You have any more to say, JJ? That's enough on the water talk. Waterboy. Waterboy by Adam.
All right, everybody. In our next episode, we're gonna have a really special guest. You guys are gonna find out. All right, that's enough, man. That's enough.
We can end it off in this toast.
Shout out to Bill Russell.
Pour one out for Bill, man. Get a nice little.
All right, everybody.
Alright, man. Episode 5. Wrapped up.